Scorpio. Welcome to your June reading. The title of your reading this month is The Money Pit. And if you've never seen the movie The Money Pit, I suggest you check it out. It is a very appropriate way to explain what's going on with you financially in June, which really is the crux of the transitions and how they affect you. It's all financial. There's a financial rebirth that happens here, but not before you have this money pit moment. Now, if you haven't seen The Money Pit, it's about a couple who goes and visits a house in the dark of night and ends up falling in love with it and buying it, only to see it during the day and realize that so much work has to be done and so many seeds have to be planted before anything can come to fruition. What they thought was the perfect house ends up needing to be completely gutted and turned into a completely different house. In the course of that renovation, their relationship comes together, falls apart, comes together, falls apart, and they really get to know themselves. That's basically what's happening with you financially. If you're bemoaning your financial fate at the moment, it's because there's some lesson in this that you have yet to learn. So fighting back against it is not going to work. Now it really is time to allow yourself that little bit of space, that little bit of time and space where the Five of Pentacles, even though it's looming, over you and you can feel this sort of tightness in your budget, it teaches you something. And it teaches you something in a way that only Gemini season can teach it to you, which is through the lived experience, right? You have to go through it. Now, for a lot of you, this harkens back to a pattern that exists within your family. This is something that you are carrying through the generations. Perhaps you had parents who would stress about money. Perhaps you were told a lot as a kid that you couldn't afford things. All of that can really not only just come up, but really affect you in June. But it's only happening so you can recognize that pattern and get rid of it. So if you feel like you're having to start over from the very bottom, that's okay, because you will, as you always do, rebuild yourself a whole lot better than you were. So it's easier said than done, but try not to see these financial constraints as some sort of indictment of you. Really, they're just a very poignant lesson. Now, the Uranus-Saturn square really brings this up for you because, Uranus is across from you in Taurus, and the situation that arose in February that you chose not to deal with gets so much worse only so you can finally deal with it and come up with a real solution instead of just denying that you can stay where that you have an issue. You want to be able to stay where you are. You're not the most comfortable with change, but ironically, you're the one that, is the phoenix. So you're not comfortable with change, but when you do it, then you really do it. So it's time to really do it. That's all. That's all, she says. Don't avoid it. The reason you don't like change isn't because you don't actually like change. It's because you don't like to change your thinking. It's very difficult for you to change your mind, and that is what's important and what's necessary here. So don't run from that. Embrace it. Change your mind. From the 2nd of June to the 22nd, we have Venus in Cancer, and you find it much easier to communicate. It's a much more water-friendly energy. The air signs are having a terrible time in June communicating, but you may feel like for the past few months you haven't been able to get a word in without someone taking it the wrong way. You're able to start communicating very smoothly, so that's good. That, it takes the pressure off, at least in that area. On the 10th, we have this solar eclipse in Gemini, and for you, it really is about who's toxic and who's not toxic. You may realize that it is, in fact, you that is toxic. Also, that's okay. So what? I did a talk about this yesterday that's on Patreon. So what if you're the one that's toxic? Like, you're not allowed to make mistakes? And then we have Mars moving from Cancer into Leo. This is super important for you because what it does is, first of all, you start to feel this hope, right? You come up with some good ideas, some good solid plans about your finances. You start to feel that you're on stable ground again. There's that. But also, you've got this ability with Mars and Leo to perhaps start a relationship that's, how do I say this? Well, it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to you and it's a waste of your time when really you need to be out here looking for that stability. So if you embrace it, if you embrace all the responsibilities that you have right now, if you embrace the change, then you shy away from the meaningless and you're really looking for that Three of Pentacles solidity. But if you're denying everything that's happening, if you're running from your debts, if you're overspending out of stress instead of recognizing and respecting the financial constraints and learning from them, then it would also stand to reason that you would get into a meaningless relationship as another form of denial or escapism. I would suggest you not do that because it'll just make everything harder. Work feels threatened, but only, again, because this money rebirth needs to happen. So we keep coming back around to what is the lesson that you need to learn. Jupiter goes retrograde on the 20th, and then you have even more money delays, and you're still thinking, what do I need to learn? Why is all this happening? Mars in Leo, ironically, also wants you to work harder. So you're working harder, but there's even more delays in money. And the juxtaposition of those two things can make you so angry and so vindictive if you could just find someone to direct your ire towards, but you can't. And that is the crux of the lesson. What do I need to learn? I need to learn that sometimes the toxic person in the room is me. Where is that toxicity within me? How long and through how many generations have I been carrying it? And how deeply do I need a financial cleanse? Where am I the aggressor? Where am I the one wielding the sword too carelessly? Where am I using my words, especially during Mercury retrograde, to mess with my own karma? This is a welcome piece of information. This is not something to get upset about with yourself or with me or with anyone else who delivers this message to you. It is not an indictment of you. It's just a teachable moment. That's all it is. Now, the other thing that happens, Knight of Swords in reverse, is that a lot of secrets are going to be revealed about you, about others, and although you are usually very comfortable being that person who reveals the secrets or at least knows the secrets, this time around, you need it. It's like medicine. It frees you. You feel healthier. You feel, even though it can be quite chaotic to have your deepest, darkest secrets illuminated, even though it can feel like everything is crashing down around you because this information is revealed, there is a huge opportunity to cleanse yourself and move forward new. At the end of the money pit, they have built this gorgeous house together and their relationship is renewed. They are able to, as older, wiser people, get into a much deeper and much more fruitful relationship, right? So in the same way, the hope is that you don't get stuck. There is such a propensity with you when you start to experience loss to just sit down in the muck and not move, because you feel like if you're still enough, you know, it's that reptilian brain thing. If you feel like if you're still enough, that the storm will pass and no one will notice and you will be unharmed. The thing is, this storm is within you. There's no way to sit this out. You've got to engage with what's happening right now. You've got to understand that this isn't actually about money, even though that's how it's manifesting. It's about you. It's about the things that you're holding on to. It's about the things that you have carried over from generations past. It's about your views about money in relation to you. It's about the words you use, the impact they have, and how that karma comes back to you. So this huge lesson shows up in the form of what seems like bad luck or delays, but really, by the time you get to the end of June, your secrets are out. You have to save money, you have to reorganize, you have to restructure your finances. And somewhere in the midst of all this, the lesson is learned and you feel free. You feel like you can move forward now. Look at this. You can move forward. Look at this. Look at this. More learned, with more skills, being even better at what you do, being an even better person, more daring, more brave, and you take what you need to learn from this lesson and you leave the rest of the muck. Now, you are a lot of things, but adventurous, especially when it comes to money, is not one of them. Well, get ready to be adventurous. Get ready to be extremely brave, because here's the cool thing. You go through this and what you learn is you can survive it. Yes, you have emotionally burnt yourself to ashes and risen as the phoenix, but now you do it financially. And it gives you that boost. It gives you even more, confidence and even more allure, even more strength. You come out of this so much more talented, skilled, more confident, higher self-esteem, because you face this scary thing and you win. And even though this thing dawns on you where it's like this realization, overcomes you of maybe I'm the one who's being toxic, even though that's the case, you still win because you're smart enough to see where those toxicity, lines are running within you, and you're able to get rid of them. You're able to pull them out. Well, if that's what it is, then I don't want it. Then we're done with that. And that's okay. You don't need to share that with anybody, by the way. One of the things that, I'm saying here is that, your secrets will come out, but this is not a secret. This is just a realization that you're having, and it's nobody else's business. So it's not like anybody else is out here, waiting for you to win. Most people are waiting for you to lose. Most people are, hoping you lose. So don't give them that. Don't give them the satisfaction of, I fell down and I realized something and I got back up. As far as they're concerned, you're always up. It's not about them. This is an internal thing. This Hermit and Tower should tell you everything you need to know about June. There is an internal restructuring happening, and it will feel like Tower moments. The money lesson, is an excuse to teach you something that you will not learn otherwise. So don't take it as anything more than that. July, the money clears up again. By the time we get to October and we get to your season, you're flying. So don't worry, just learn. And I love you so much. Like so much. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to the second part of your reading. Your reading is called The Money Pit. So that you're in a Saturn square. So I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like lightning and thunder and sirens and thunderstorm happening right now. It has started quite suddenly. So like I was saying, you're in a Saturn square. That Seven of Pentacles tells you that this is about how much you put in and what right now for the next few weeks may seem like not a good enough dividend on your investment. Five of Pentacles. But if you change and you let whatever these losses are direct your change, if you don't hang on too stubbornly to how it used to be, you can stand to make a lot of money. In fact, quite a lot more than you thought you were going to get back initially. But it does require a bit of starting again. That's not always a nice feeling. Page of Cups, then you'd rather go all the way down to incinerate yourself and then come back up. The Page of Cups is like, you're just going to make me go through the motions again. No, there is something to learn here. In fact, you may have something to communicate about money that holds you back emotionally. It is very probable that you wouldn't let someone get too close if you didn't feel that you could provide for them in a certain way. These themes come up. You're having these realizations. Maybe it's you. Could be you. Who's been getting in the way of that fairy tale ending? Could be you. Those of you who are already with someone, that Five of Swords doubt comes out of nowhere in the midst of the retrograde. Don't give into it. If anything, it's just showing you where you need to let go of some toxic emotions you're harboring. Right? Some things that you need to see as lessons more so than grudges. When you're feeling like this, it's really easy to get turned around. It's easy to try to lose yourself in that magic that you always have on tap. You can disappear into that space. But don't. Instead, focus on your money. Focus on getting everything together, so if there is a tower moment somewhere towards the end of June, beginning of July, you will be prepared for it. Figure out exactly what needs to change. Don't freak out if there are money delays. They're just delays. And although you want to work harder, it's just as important to see about this emotional cleansing and really, understanding the self, the motivations, the secrets that maybe you don't even realize that you're carrying. Everything that would make you stop and get stuck will test you. And if you pass, you get to heal completely, not slowly either. You can physically heal so quickly, but emotionally can be so delicate, but you heal. And it's a really big thing. And although you may be really agitated with the delays in money, the money is still yours and comes to you. It just accumulates first. And here in the last row, it's very obviously saying that every tower moment is an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself and about what holds you back. Okay? All right. I love you, love you. The extended will be on Vimeo. There's also a PayPal link, and the first part of this reading was out a few weeks ago on Patreon. You can join the Scorpio tier or the Scorpio plus the Za tier. If you would like a personal reading, there is a Cameo link below. If you like these rings, there is a Quietest Revolution rings link below and an Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, if you're into a daily horoscope, come join us at the Quietest Revolution. Love you, love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.